Good day, everybody.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to episode, is it now 15 of the Good Day podcast?
15.
Holy cow, 10 was an achievement. 15 is probably another achievement, but not as big. Maybe the next big one will be 25.
20, maybe.
20, yeah.
You guys are still listening. We love you.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening again, and you join us back at our favorite caravan park in Perth. We're at the Caranyup Water Resort.
Caranyup, I think.
This is the one that had the three nice pools, the cafe, the ducks, the good site that we got. But we're in a cabin now.
Yes, very exciting. Got a little upgrade.
Luxury.
And this will be a quick little episode so we could hit the pool after.
Oh, yeah. And we're doing this because we have one extra person coming in today, and that is Marshall.
Yes. I mean, is he coming today, Kory?
Oh, my God. I'll tell you one confusing thing. His flights, and I think Marshall's mind has been scrambled. He's been traveling for like a year and a couple months now.
We're gonna put him on blast right now, that little sketch ball. He called us and he was like, this was like 2-3 months ago, he's like, I'm booking my flight and I'm gonna do this when I land in Perth at 2:30 a.m. on May 14th. And we're like, okay, great, that's fine, no worries, we'll be there to pick you up. So like a couple days ago I texted him and I was like, can you send us your flight info
so we know when to like track you? And
he had that he was landing, what?
He was like landing in like
2 days from now?
Yeah, 2 days from now.
And it was just like a whole different scenario. And we already sent him our itinerary for the next like multiple weeks. And we had like the next 2 days filled up with things. And we're like, how is he landing 2 days later? And he didn't tell us. He looked at the itinerary.
Like, how is he this confused? And then he was like, oh, wait. That's a different...
Well, I had to ask because Kory wasn't saying anything. And I was like, I don't... You told us the 14th at 2 a.m. And he was like, oh, that's the wrong flight. And then he sends this other screenshot of just the second leg of the flight, which gets on at Doha, Qatar, local time, 2:30 a.m. and lands in Perth at 7 p.m. local time. So like, completely different, again, from what he said. No idea when he left America or Mexico. Like, he didn't even text us, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
We think he's been flying for...
It's been days now.
Yeah.
He's been in the air for days. So Mexico City to Perth doesn't... I think this is what he did. He flew Mexico City to L.A. Like, generally you think, oh, well, all our flights to Australia have been L.A. across the Pacific to, like, Sydney. You'd think he'd do that. No. He flies to L.A., flies across all of Europe into the Middle East to Doha, Qatar, and then flies from Qatar over India, over the Indian Ocean to Perth. It's got to be 40 hours in the air or something like that he's been doing.
Yeah, and he sent us the bare minimum of texts.
But it is his birthday,
yes,
so happy birthday, Marshall.
Happy birthday, Marshall. I think he skipped his birthday by being in the air, so maybe the flight attendant celebrated with him. But I made him cupcakes. Gotta frost them quickly. And we're making him a sauce for a nice hearty pasta dish when he arrives. But today was supposed to be like full of excursions for him, but no, we're hitting the ground running tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he feels energized so that we can go to Rottnest Island. You guys remember Kory said that's my number one bucket list thing in Australia. I will be very sad if he like isn't in the mood. I would understand if he wasn't in the mood to go tomorrow morning. Well, we have a lot of errands to do in the morning to get him prepped and ready for this road trip. But after that, I would like to hit Rottnest Island. I would understand if he's not up for it, but I'm going to be crushed if he's not.
I think he'll be up for it. He said he's up for anything, but he might just be in a bad mood. But we'll get him a little snacky stack.
a GFDF.
Snacky snack.
Yeah. Anyways, we're excited to have you, Marshall. It's going to be litty.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And so where we left off last week, we were dog sitting for the beautiful white dog, Summer. And we just got to explore a little bit around just this area we were in, Port Coogee. The house was beautiful. Everything was really nice. and we were exploring a cafe. There's one like right down the street. What was it called? The Grind Reaper?
Yeah, the Grind Reaper.
And we walked in there, and they had just a picture, or just probably 500 pictures of dogs
on mini Polaroid printout covering the walls.
And we were like, Summer has definitely got to be on here. She lives like
a 2-minute walk away.
So they got to come here to get coffee. And sure enough, after probably 5 minutes of looking, we ordered and looked and still didn't have our coffee yet. But then we finally found her on the board.
Kory found her.
Yeah, she's a good little
beautiful dog. We got so many compliments on her when we were walking.
Yeah, people loved her. People loved giving her pats. And
she was a sweetheart. She loved us.
Yeah.
She'd follow me around the house.
And then one time I went outside, or I went to jump in the water, and Maxie stayed in the house, and Summer was crying because she didn't want me to go.
Yeah, she was watching him from the balcony crying when he was swimming.
Yeah, but the house was really nice. We really loved it. And before we left, we were like, I think this is probably the longest we've talked to the hosts before they left, right?
Yeah, I think like we said, this was a last minute one for literally the next day, a dog sit for the next day. We got it immediately. She accepted it without even talking to us. So, like, she seemed like a very last minute person, which is fine. I'm kind of that way.
Yeah.
But she was did we already talk about how she was in like a client meeting at her house when we got there? Yeah. And she spent like the next hour, maybe hour and a half in that meeting and we had to talk to her husband. We loved him. And we had a lot of shared interests with him.
We did talk about this, yeah.
Oh yeah, he was amazing. But like, then we were like, oh, what time are they coming home? Because he told us one thing and then she texted us a different thing. She was like, we're coming home super late. So
they definitely came home later than anyone else, but then we watched an episode of Below Deck, which we love. We'll get into how much we love Below Deck. Yeah. But when we were talking to them, they were like, oh yeah, there's like this influencer who's a neighbor, and he was like, oh, do you know her? She has got like 1 million followers. And we're like, no, we have no idea. There's influencers everywhere. And Maxie did what she does and did a little investigation. So you could tell everything you know about this lady. And
well, he told us her name. So I looked her up and I Googled her. I was kind of confused why she was living in this like up and coming neighborhood because Port Coogee seems to be like all these new mansions are being built or all these new like bougie condos, all modern looking. They're all like under construction. And it seems a very new place, but apparently she's been living here for multiple years. So I Googled her just to, like, know a little bit about her. And immediately all these articles came up that her baby daddy, who was living in the next door condo, this is actually so sad. He killed his mom for life insurance money. And he got away with it for 2 years until a few sketchy things came up with like the medical documents and voicemails from doctors that he was just impersonating a doctor and it was really him like leaving a voicemail.
Yeah, so he would make a message to himself, right?
Yeah, like so he could get permission to have all the money.
He like created a fake
I don't know exactly what he was doing, but he was being really sketchy and changing medical documents. And then what really like sealed the deal on him getting found out 2 years later was that someone like reported that the woman did not want to be cremated, but she was. So the officials looked into it and they realized that like there was something very suspicious going on.
The will, right?
Yeah.
He changed the will so he was getting all the money or something like that.
Yeah, and this is like a 28-year-old kid. Or no, I think he was like younger when this happened, but I think he got arrested when he was 27, 2 years after.
Absolutely crazy. How did he actually kill the lady though, or his mom?
And I didn't mean to say kid, like full, like just not as old as you're probably picturing.
Yeah.
She was 58. This is really sad.
Yeah. Do you remember like how did he like do it, or did he like take her off?
She was just found in her apartment dead, and I'm not sure how he did it, but they thought that it was that there was no like nothing suspicious about it basically. So he probably did like medicine or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe some sort of poison. He probably poisoned her.
I bet it's gonna unfold because his trial is a 12-week trial this October.
Yeah, and so the neighbor was just, and everyone, all the Australian news outlets were like,
influencer not coming to baby daddy's court dates, but posting selfies back at home or on vacation.
yeah, so they're all the Australian media was just roasting her.
They have a 5-year-old together. But the people we were house sitting for, they were saying that she like comes and goes and looks like an absolute mess and looks nothing like her pictures. So that goes to show that Instagram is pretty fake.
It's all fake except for Maxi's pictures. They're not edited.
Of course, but I mean like the people that actually have a huge following,
True,
like they're just faking their perfect lifestyle.
Exactly. So that was a little bit of drama that we were getting.
Kory's pictures are fake, though. His abs don't actually look like that.
Ab implants.
Like Drake.
Yeah, so we got the tea from looking up, and just a little context from the neighbors about that, or from our people we were house sitting for about that. So that was actually kind of, I feel like you could make a like a documentary out of, like one of those classic Netflix documentary out of stories like that.
Definitely. I felt really weird being next to her house.
Yeah, and some other stuff we got to do besides digging into the tea of our neighbors were just explore the area. Like I said, we went to some coffee shops, and like we would take the dog on sunset walks and just a beautiful walking path. And one day we just walked down to, like, there's a really big beach, and we walked down to it. And we're like, oh, that's cool. There's like people scuba diving and snorkeling and stuff. And we didn't think twice about it. And then how did we realize that it was like just an ancient shipwreck?
I think we were looking at the Strava map and it said Omeo Wreck.
Yeah.
And we Googled it and it was a 1905 shipwreck. And it's very close to shore. It's not in deep water. And you can just snorkel around it.
Yeah, we wanted to snorkel around it, but that's one thing we need for when we head up north is just more gear. I didn't want to get the Kmart $2 snorkeling gear.
I wanted to get it. It'll do its job.
It'll be cheap and you won't see anything.
All right, I guess we're going to have to go spend $300 on snorkeling gear to make Kory feel good about it.
It's all about the experience and feeling good and doing things, you know? You don't have to buy the high-end stuff. You got to buy that, like, middle-tier stuff that'll work well and...
Or the $10 Kmart stuff.
Yeah, that'll work once and then break and you won't see anything. So the shipwreck was cool. I'm sure we'll see a bunch more of some snorkeling stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, we were looking at bull bars once again, but I was probably the closest ever to buying a used bull bar. I was making, Maxi had the great idea to call around to places and see like if there was a mechanic that would fit it, or there was anyone who would put on an old used bull bar, because this one was the correct model for our car. It was only like $300, but it was like 2 hours away. And I was calling around, and then eventually the first two places I called were like, no, we don't do that, try this place. And then I called this one like small business, seems like just like a little mom and pop shop, and she was like, please, whatever you do, do not buy a used bull bar. They always have something wrong. They always are missing parts. They are just a complete disaster. I know everybody tries to see these $300, $400 bull bars online and tries to get them, and they always get screwed. Either it's not the right fit for your car, it's not this or that. So after she actually gave me a 10-minute life lecture, she's like, do not do this. Find something else, or just go and drive during the day. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to be very safe driving during the day. We're not going to run down any roofs. We'll be fine.
For the record, we were never going to buy a used one. We've looked into them on Facebook Marketplace all around the country back when we were in like Melbourne and Adelaide and wherever. We were never going to get a used one because they're always like so confusing on if they'll actually fit our car or not. Because they seem to fit like multiple cars. I don't know. They're just a little confusing.
Yeah.
So this one was so clearly made for our car. It was like a 90 series Prado, like yada yada, like 100% just came off his
old Prado.
Old one that was the same as ours. And Kory was like, no, we should really just get this one. Like, we'll save actually $2,000.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll just save $2,300 because that's not going to work either.
Yeah.
So we're just not going to get a bull bar just because it's not working out for us.
Yeah.
Because we should have got one in Melbourne. We did not realize that there's very few in Adelaide, and we didn't realize that there's even less in Perth. So
it just doesn't make any sense.
We put in a hard effort to get one, and honestly, like,
we spent so many days going around to shops, talking to people,
phone calls.
But we're good.
We're safe. I think our driving so far has been a nice testament, and it's been like so much nicer than people describe it out to be. I think a lot of people are trying to make a sale because these things are very expensive.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that in our bank account.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We're all good. And
did you talk about the mountain bike parks?
Oh no, I didn't. But there was a ton of bike trails all around Perth, and most of the trails are pretty far south, and I think the real nice area for mountain biking was where we were in, like the Bussleton, Margaret River area. But there's a couple really cool ones up by Perth, and they're all on like the east side, which it's so crazy. Perth is just like flat, and then all of a sudden it goes to like these hills, like, and they call it the Perth Hills. And so I actually I love looking at maps, and while I was still in the States, I found a bike park called the Goat Farm, and like since probably like 2 years ago, I was like, oh, these trails look so sick. I can't wait to get down there, and I finally ended up riding them. The jumps were insane on some of these trails, the double black diamonds. I didn't ride them, but they were absolutely massive. Some of the biggest jumps I've ever seen, and like I talked to some people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you'll just see some random kids go out there and do it like it's nothing." But I don't know. It's just a different world. Those massive jumps, and honestly, I didn't really love that trail system. There was another one called like Karanyup, or I forget the full name, but this place had camel rides. There was the biggest trail network in Perth, and the dirt was like this pea gravel, but it felt like it had so much grip because you would like. Sorry to get real technical about mountain biking right now, but all like the turns, you had like a little layer, and I feel like your tires would just dig into that layer, so you had so much grip going around. So that was a really fun trail network that I would totally go back to. Just don't remember the name of it. It started with a K.
And I'm really happy for Kory because when we knew we were going to come do a year down here, we were looking at spending our whole time either in Sydney or our whole time in Perth. We weren't really planning on doing the big lap. And Kory was looking into these mountain biking trails back in the U.S., and he was very excited to come ride them, and now he's checking off the bucket list.
Yeah, it's been fun riding a bike, but the bike will be put away once we head north until we get back to the East Coast, basically, because there's only like one or two trails. I mean, it'll probably be used just for like pedaling around if we need to go get something from a store at a caravan park, but there's no like trail networks until we get to Cairns, which is like a mecca. That's like
Good.
Yeah, Cairns is one of the biggest in all of Australia. I think it is the biggest in all of Australia for mountain biking. Yeah.
You would think it would be like Tasmania.
Yeah, Tassie and that. Just Cairns is more accessible. That's why.
Red Bull Hardline Cairns next year.
Yeah, they do. Not Cairns, but they do some other stuff there.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was really fun to get the bike out, do some more bikes. So hopefully I'll be able to use it as we head up this coast.
And I know I've said it once, but I'll say it again. You guys need to watch Below Deck Sailing Yacht.
Oh, it's the best.
Season 2 through 4 with the best characters.
These people are just nuts.
We love it. We've been watching it in our camp pop-up tent.
Yeah, we were like... First, we didn't know where on earth to watch it, just because Season 2 was on Amazon, or Season 2 was on Netflix.
Yeah, Season 2, Netflix, Season 3 and 4, Amazon. Or we're watching...
Season 3 was on Amazon, and now Season 4 is on a different platform. Yeah.
Something called Hey You.
So we've been just crushing it out in our tent.
It's like Yellowstone. We have to go chase which season is on which platform.
It's just like... It seems like they get I am more interested in like the boat drama, not like the actual characters going out and partying drama. Like I want to see what's going wrong with the boat and like I don't know. That's more entertaining for me. And this season,
And I love the character drama. I love it. I think that these characters in season 2 are like the best for drama, and then it just kind of continues because they keep some of the same characters for season 3 and 4. So it's just chef's kiss.
it's good
I
fun.
don't like reality TV that much, but this one is just so funny.
Yeah, I want to kind of dive into the weeds on it and see like how much of it is like actually like reality or like
Yeah.
because I feel like some of the main characters do put on like an acty face. Like I think Daisy is the head stew, and I feel like she puts on like kind of like a fake attitude. I don't know, just for like the show.
Yeah, maybe.
But I want to see how real it actually is. It's probably not real, but we know that they tell the guests to be like super extra and like.
Yeah.
But the guests on this season have been all like pretty kosher. Like.
Yeah, exactly. We like a crazy guest.
Mm-hmm.
And claps for me because I often start little passion projects and don't finish them, but I finished my painting that I started in Tasmania. It's the smallest little painting ever. Not the smallest, but it's pretty small.
What's it of?
It's a square. It's a painting of the Bay of Fires in Tasmania. And it's with acrylic paint, so I should have finished it in like a quick time period. But it took me this long. I was like, this needs to stop just floating around the car. I need to finish it. So we watched Below Deck, and I finished it, and I'm happy about that.
Lovely.
And I have
Good job.
3 more canvases. I think I'm going to make Kory and Marshall and do a painting with me.
Nice. And yeah, so that was basically our time with Summer. What do you think, like, how do you feel about that overall sit?
I loved her.
She had some problems.
The only problems was that she was kind of restless at night as a big dog. Like, she'd be huffing and puffing and rotating and checking, like, putting her head on each side of the bed to check in with us in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And once she had to be let out in the middle of the night. So,
yeah.
That's about it. That's my only qualm with her. But I love her.
She was a really cuddly, fluffy dog, and she was nice. I liked her a lot. I would totally sit for her again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the house was nice. The area gave us a great opportunity to explore around. And
yeah, I love living in the marina.
Yeah.
Nice, like, dog walking areas all around.
Mm-hmm. It was really cool. And then after we left Summer, we went to explore Fremantle, which is like the best suburb in Perth. I think everyone says it's like up, like really hipster or like
artsy, hippie, crunchy. It's
It's
like where all the shipping containers are because there's a port.
yeah, well, it's just south of all the shipping containers.
Yeah,
but you can see it from the beaches and stuff.
And it played a big role in the ships leaving for World War I as well as Albany.
Yeah. But it's like an old town. It has really cool historic looking buildings made of like that old sandstone, limestone look, and very classic small town feel, or like not small town, but like nice city suburb feel, which I thought was really cool. And they had so many little cool shops and bookstores and health stores and fun stuff.
Yeah, like the best bookstore I've probably ever been to. And
oh yeah, I was looking for the book Guns, Germs, and Steel for like ages before. And then I finally you
had to have a bookstore order it.
I had to have someone order it, yeah, because after going to probably a dozen bookstores, they're like, nah, it's not here. Maxi walks right in. The first book she sees is Guns, Germs, and Steel.
I read that book in high school, and one of our Airbnb hosts recommended it to Kory, so he was like, yeah, I'll read it. Yeah. So that's why we're talking about that book in particular, but it was so funny. It was like nowhere to be found in all of Australia, and then boom, it's in this one.
Yeah, so that's the next one up in line after I finished the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is taking a long time, but it should be done soon.
It's so annoying.
It's not. Everyone loves the Lord of the Rings. Just ask.
Remember
Yeah, Maxie is getting annoyed with my Lord of the Rings reading. And she, like, one day I was just reading it normally in bed before going to sleep. And she just, like, tries to punch a hole through the book because she thought it was going to be so funny.
Well, it was just very still, and we were just relaxing. I
And
just
boom.
swiftly punched the book. And Kory was so mad.
I was so confused, and then I didn't talk to her. I just went right to bed.
No. You ended up thinking it was funny, but I
Oh yeah, I forgot. That reminds me. I owe you a book punch. I'm gonna try and send it into the stratosphere.
The Lord of the Rings is so dorky.
It's such a classic book. It's about adventure. We're literally doing what Frodo and Sam did, but driving instead of walking.
I'm crazy sorry for punching your book. I thought he would laugh. It wasn't funny.
Yeah, so if you're wondering what we do when we just hang out in our rooftop tent, Maxie just punches books out of my hands.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, so we spent the last 2 nights in between when Marshall got here.
He didn't get here. I don't know if he's coming.
Oh yeah, we have no idea when he's going to be here. But at just a random caravan park, and
Not random. It's like south of Port Coogee, in Woodman.
yeah, and it was on a great location, right like steps away from walking path and like running trails. It was really, really nice paved biking path too. And we did a nice little 5K jog around the first day we were there. And then the next night when we were there, I don't know why they decided to do this, but it sounded like there was construction at the park.
Yeah.
It was so
This was
loud.
last night, or this morning. Like 3 a.m. They're doing construction work right on the road, right there.
Like, you think these caravan parks would be like, hey, just a heads up.
I know you're seeking nature and quiet, peaceful.
But we're going to be digging up the asphalt.
Yes.
Right outside your window, and we're not going to tell anybody.
So I put in earplugs for the first time along this camping journey.
Yeah, and I was sleeping soundly, and
This is not true. What
I
he's
was
about to say.
sound asleep, and then Maxie like shakes me awake, and she's like,
No, I didn't touch
she's
it.
like, hey, do you need earplugs? I'm putting some earplugs in, and this is me
not true.
getting woken up out of the dead sleep.
Why do you remember it like that? I didn't touch him. I heard him like flip-flopping and like sighing really loudly like he was awake, so I whispered so quietly, "Are you up?" And then he said, "Are you talking to me?" And I said, "Yeah, I just put in earplugs if you want some."
Yeah, not how I remember it, but that's actually probably how it happened.
Anyways.
Yeah, anyways, we had a nice meal at our caravan park cook area, and there's just always someone there that looks like they belong there, or it looks like someone we've seen before.
Yeah.
If you just picture it, you'll notice that person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, even someone that looks regular. Like, there was just this Hispanic girl that looked very familiar. Like, almost like I've seen her at every single campsite. Like, she was cute and pretty and in normal clothes. Like, she wasn't a gremlin like Kory's probably making you guys imagine. No, she was normal. I just feel like I've seen her everywhere. And then there are the gremlins that you can imagine at each caravan site.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, believe it or not, these caravan sites are, like, all regular people. You would think that they're all gremlins.
Yeah, they're all like families.
Yeah,
and
they're
just people like somehow they're taking long leave and they get a year off of work, which is just.
That's called quitting.
The guy I talked to today, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're on long leave,"
Oh.
and I was like, "Oh, what about the kids?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we just do a little schooling each day with them."
Nice.
Yeah, so it was pretty neat talking to the people there, and nice. And
oh, and was that yesterday? I was going to shower.
Yeah.
We were going to shower, and I knew I forgot something. I forgot my clothes to change into, so I get into the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, I have to go back to the car and grab my clothes. So I go to the car, and I noticed we finally got our review from our Bussleton Kory set, the very nice lady. So I was excited to see like what the review was when it popped up. We've been waiting a while, and I click it when I'm at the car getting my clothes, and I could not believe what I saw. It was a paragraph, a bunch of like emojis of hearts with band-aids on them, and a 1 star. And
Oh.
I was like, what? I can't believe this. And so there's a bunch of subsections where you rate out of 5 stars as well. There's like 5 subsections, and they were all 5 stars. So I was like, okay, those are 5 stars. So what's going on? I read the paragraph. It's all positive. It's very positive. I don't know why she's using the emoji with like the healed heart or the band-aid heart. And she must have clicked 1 star accidentally because she's probably not like
tech savvy.
Yeah.
She's not as tech savvy as my.
So I was like, oh god, she rated us 1 star overall, and she like affected our overall reviews. And so I had to message her and say like, hi, like I see you wrote the most, like the sweetest review, and you gave us 5 stars in all the subsections. I think you accidentally did 1 star for the overall review. And she didn't respond for a very long time.
So we're like, oh no, did she mean to do 1 star? Like,
yeah, and then finally at the end of the day, she's like, got it fixed with the website. My fat, silly fingers must have hit 1 star. So she was so nice, and she fixed it, and we're a 5 star straight across the board. I think we're going to get another 5 stars from Summer. Still waiting for her mom to review, but she loved us.
The dog sitting has been going great, and we've had all good dogs and cats, and it's been very easy so far, thankfully. Yes, and what else? And then I went back to shower.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, okay, we'll figure out this 1 star thing later. I went back to shower, and this worker put a sign in front of me as I was walking in that said, bathroom closed, I'm cleaning it. And I was like, great, this is just my luck. Didn't say a word, because he, it basically was like, don't even try. And so I went to go back to the car again, and this man chased me down, this random caravan park guest, and he was like, use the disabled toilet, there's a shower in there. So I went and did that really quick, but I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny how you almost got cut out of a shower.
Yeah, just because I had to read that 1 star review. But things are looking up.
Yeah. Yes, and
it's a 5 star review now.
Speaking of animals and dogs, Maxi and I have had this competition. Well, I think the competition actually only exists in my head of who can pet more dogs. And I'm crushing it. Every dog I see, I'm getting a pat out of. Except there was a beautiful golden retriever that was caravanning with a man, and I didn't get to pat him.
Yeah, he was across from us.
But just dogs are attracted to me. They love me.
Yeah, no, but all the dogs we sit for like me better.
That's true.
They follow me around and they love me.
I know, maybe.
But what?
I was gonna say maybe that's why I have this competition in my head, because I just want more dogs to like me.
He does pet a lot more cute stranger dogs.
Yes, so I can't wait to get a dog.
I'm kind of jealous.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's. Oh wait, what else do we got going on?
Well,
here?
we were just gonna say that you started booking some campsites for Marshall's road trip.
We don't do anything in advance, and I started booking some caravan parks in advance just so we're ready to go. And yeah. And
we're going to do something special for our upcoming 1-year anniversary, so keep your eye out for that.
And wish us happy anniversary.
June 24th, baby.
Yep.
And today we actually have quite the drama.
Oh my gosh, this was crazy. So it started out, we just kind of needed some time, or we didn't really have much going on today between leaving the last caravan park and coming into our new accommodation here, and just kind of getting ready for Marshall. So we were driving around. We went to the post office to send out some posties. If anyone wants more postcards, shoot us a message. But this is probably going to be the last batch for a couple weeks. And then we went to a really, really nice grocery store that we didn't expect to be nice. It was just it was called a local Kohl's, and it was like a Whole Foods, seemed like a normal prices, but high-end Kohl's. And we're like, oh, this place is awesome. They got good sushi. They got all these desserts and nice fresh vegetables and just interesting meats, just everything that anyone could ask for. And we go in there. And
it was amazing. It was like a fresh market, but the brand name Kohl's.
So that was really nice. We went in there, and then we come back out. We were like, all right, let's go hang out at Trig Beach real quick, one of the nice beaches in in Perth. It's just like the north side of it. And then we get there, we're chilling for a little bit, just sitting in the air conditioning, looking up some stuff, booking some stuff. And then all of a sudden we get out to go to the beach, and just Maxi's like, oh my God, is there a hurricane? I can't open this door.
Yeah, I thought the wind was blowing it shut at the beach, but there was no wind.
Yeah, there was no wind.
I couldn't open it.
I was like, what in the world is going on with this car door? So we walk away a little bit, then we come back and assess it some more, and we realize someone in the Kohl's parking lot hit our car, or just like slightly bumped into it to
messed the door up with the...
So they didn't hit the door, they hit like the front right fender near the wheel, and they just like tapped it enough to push in the metal so that when you shut the door, it gets caught on the front passenger side wheel panel, and the door would barely open. So we're like, all right, let's just go to like an auto body shop or do something real quick. And there was a couple around. Like the first one we went to just didn't exist.
It took us to a shopping mall.
Yeah. And then I was like, all right, this is the next closest one. And so we get there and start talking to the people inside.
And it says all over the exterior, it says, quotes are only by appointment, like no walk-ins. And we walked in, and the lady was like, oh, I don't know. Like,
let me try
she
and
was
find
like,
someone.
let me see if someone will take a look. And then she was very nice. And Kory pulled the car up, and by the time he pulled the car back up, because he parked it across the street, by the time he pulled the car up, this man was like, I'm here, I'm ready to look at it. And he was so nice. He came out, he takes one glance at it, and he was like, would you be happy if I just pop this right back out so you could use the door?
Yeah.
And Kory was like, yeah, we would be very happy. So he goes, all right, 10 minutes. So he drives the car into the workshop, and he comes back 10 minutes later or less.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're all set. And so he explained to Kory, like, if it happens again, like, because he said that the metal there is pretty soft, so, like, if someone leaned on it, it might happen again.
Yeah.
So we showed Kory how to pop it back out.
And I was like, oh, what's the damage? How much do we owe you? And he's like, oh, nothing. I see you guys are traveling. Enjoy yourselves. This is amazing. Like,
yeah.
Where are you going? Like, have fun. And, like, he was just the nicest guy
He was so nice. I left him a great review because that was above and beyond. Like, we were talking on the way to the auto body shops about how we were going to get a $600 bill. We were going to have to call the Kohl's, see if they have footage of who hit our car. Because in Australia, you're required to have car insurance, but it only covers the other person. So I was like, okay, like, in this case, like, we need to get this person's insurance.
Yeah.
And it was going to be this whole to-do, and this guy just helped us out, like, no problem.
Saved us a day. And it just, like, goes to show you that there's, like, good mechanics out there, and then there's just, like, phenomenal mechanics. And this guy is just so good.
Very nice person, so...
I don't know, we probably could have fixed it ourselves, but I didn't want to go in there messing around with it. So.
Oh my gosh, it sounded like the metal was exploding together every time I opened the door. It was.
Yeah.
I would yell because the noise scared me.
That was pretty
And you had to force the door to open. But anyways, we read the sign in there that said, good things are happening today.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is going to be good. And it was good. So thank you, universe, and thank you, G and C Delaport Auto Body. All right. Let's see if Marshall shows up, guys. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's about it for this week. I hope you guys all enjoyed. And I think next week we got some fun stuff on the radar. We got Rottnest Island. We're heading up north. Hopefully Monkey Mia and all the fun stuff, really.
And I'm just teasing. Marshall will be here, so he'll probably be in the next podcast, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. We're excited.
Just like a ton of fun days after fun days. It'll be jam-packed, so buckle up for the next one.
Oh, and you got some animals of the week written down here?
Oh, yes, sorry. I added some animals of the week. Obviously, Summer and all the random doggos that Kory pet. Saw so many massive pelicans. They would live in the marina that we were living in. We just last night, I think, saw pigeons doing a mating call. I've never seen this. I'm going to post a video.
They weren't like any New England pigeons. They were crazy looking pigeons.
Yeah, they were freaky looking pigeons, and I took a video of their like little. They're showing their plumage of feathers. I don't know if that's how you say that. Anyways, and then there was a fat grass spider. It wasn't that big.
Yeah. I got it. I like almost picked it up and got rid of it.
Yeah, it wasn't that big. You'd see one that big on the ground outside in America.
I think it'd be a big one for the U.S. Like if someone saw that in their house, they'd be like, that's pretty big.
Yeah, but it was like nothing, and thank God we don't see them that often.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's it, guys. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. We love you.
Does anyone want any shout-outs? Gabe told me he was listening, so shout out Gabe.
Shout out Gabe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know if you listen to this. Maybe you'll get the next shout out. Love you.
Love you guys. Have a good day.
Have a good day.